Home is where connections are made, memories are formed, and ideas are born. And no one knows home better than NFM. Thanks for tuning in to I Am Home, the podcast that goes deeper than trends and dives into what it means to make your house a home.
Tyler Weiskup here from NFM headquarters with the champion of chat, Becca Sudbeck.
Hi, Tyler.
Hey, Becca. And Hilary Waltermath, Visual Display General Manager.
Hey.
Hey, Hilary. And today we're talking to the Bakers, Scott and Sara. Welcome.
Welcome. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course. Scott Baker is NFM's store director, but together they're a mighty DIY team and part of our new Home Life Expert Guest Host team.
Wow.
It's pretty legit.
I knew you had that title.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
As a reminder, our new guest hosts are NFMers with life passions. They're home life experts that we're going to call on from time to time to answer your, and in today's case, my questions. But before we get to that, let me tell you why we're even doing this podcast, and that's because NFM is more than just your everything home store. We're in the business of improving lifestyles because your home life should be your best life. Learn more at nfm.com. Okay, so let's jump into the questions, and I'd love to start, Sara, if we could. The way Scott was talking about your DIY partnership, he was talking about your friendship and your marriage. I think we are all like, it was like relationship goal city. It was very, it was a lot, and I don't know, is that like legitimately like how things are?
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, I feel like he gives me a lot of leeway and is pretty supportive in my crazy ideas, and will occasionally put the brakes on them. But no, it's a pretty good part. And partnership's the perfect word. So.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jealous. Well, can you tell me how you two met?
We met at a volunteer job that I had at Hospice House, and I'd been a hospice volunteer for a long, long time. And I was asked to train him, and we became friends for over a year or so until it just kind of turned into something more after
Until
that.
I worked my magic.
Of course.
It took a
Of
while.
course.
The hospice house where we volunteer, it's not exactly the most romantic place, but I still got her.
No, if you really want to see, the core of someone and their values and who they truly are, I mean, he's a caregiver. He takes care of everyone in his life, I think, and it's kind of hard to miss that. So.
Couldn't resist me.
Well, how did you know that you were meant to be? When did that happen?
For me, I think it's really important in a relationship when you start out as friends. It kind of never goes away, and we'd be in our relationship after we got married. But any night we went back to Hospice House, I was back in charge, training it, taking the lead, and the friendship has always been the core of the relationship. Mm-hmm.
So now that we're married 6 years, just over 6, she's always in charge.
Smart.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, okay, so you listened to Scott's episode, and do you think he represented your DIY partnership well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything else that you'd like to add on how you two work on furniture? Anything that he left out, as part of the things that you two do together around this kind of stuff?
He probably left out how handy he is. I mean, he can do electrical work, plumbing, upholstery, carpentry. And we refinished our basement. I mean, you weld. He's way more talented than he lets on. So people are always amazed by our projects, but I'm like, well, he's good at all of that stuff. So.
And are you
Renaissance man?
Self-taught?
Yes.
How did
Yes.
you pick up all of that
Kind
knowledge?
of self-taught on all of these things. Sometimes it starts out as necessity. My thing is broke and I've got to get it fixed. But, over time you just get better at things and, you learn how to do things. And I'm really not afraid to try something. And it's like, I need to learn how to weld. I'll go get a welder. And then I wreck a bunch of stuff. And, then pretty soon you can get better at it. Now, you wouldn't want me welding on an airplane.
Sure. Sure.
But,
not.
right. But You know, I mean, I built the car, you know, welded it, you know, I did all that. But again,
That's cool.
sort of an amateur at most things, but I'll
Yeah.
get by.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds like you two are the ultimate power couple.
Yeah, well, there's an
So
HGTV show in your future,
we
I
know.
think.
Retirement.
Yeah,
plan.
there you go. There you go.
Well, let's get them started here on the podcast.
Yeah, right,
first.
right. Okay.
That's
All
what,
right. Soft
like,
launch.
Don't like exactly. I mean, we gotta like milk this thing. Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and Scott, if you could pull up this first image. So I have, and sorry, the screen's a little awkward. It doesn't fit the whole thing, but we'll take care of that in post, as Scott always says. He loves fixing things in post. So anyway, I am looking at, and I took these pictures, doing my homework very last minute, but I have this entryway, and it's kind of I love my house, but this entryway and this whole like floor, I guess you'd call it, I just don't really like very much, and we haven't like done too much with just yet. And we just moved in a year ago. We've had a lot of things to fix, so like just to make excuses for myself, have not tackled anything in this area.
Okay.
But I am curious if you have ideas. I'd love to bring in some more light into the space. You know, it connects to the bathroom and laundry room. If you can go forward, Scott, to 2. So this goes right into the to bathroom, and then to 3 you can kind of see laundry room through here, which I did not put anything away. My wife will be happy to see this stuff after the fact. And our door right here, it's got like the seal on the bottom's a little broke, so I just shoved some carpet up against it because I'm not as handy as Scott.
Clearly not
So,
as handy as you,
Okay.
Scott.
Yeah. Okay.
Weld a
But-
new seal on there.
But I also think that like there's an opportunity to like again bring more light into the space, and so I think we want to replace maybe these 2 doors at some point. Scott, if you could go to the next one, here's the reverse angle. There's my dog. Yeah, there's little Rupert. We were talking about him in the podcast before, but that's the other side of it. And then on the way back, one more, Scott. There's kind of leading in the front door.
Okay.
Oh, so that's the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It sure is. So I'm curious if you have any initial thoughts, just kind of taking a look at it.
The first thing I would do is put a clear glass front door.
Yeah.
And maybe something with a frosted, you know, something to let light in. And also, it looks like your light fixture has is it a cloth shade over the top? Is it?
It doesn't. Yes, Scott, go back to,
Look
what
at
was that, 5?
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Those are like little fake crystal things. It was original to the house when it was built in '64. And it's not the fanciest thing, but we don't hate it. But I mean, we could potentially get it out of there and try something else if we wanted
have a
to.
light fixture like that. We actually put a crystal chandelier in our laundry room. Thought we'd glam it up a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit.
Ooh, I love that.
But it's kind of fun. But yeah, the natural light coming in. You know, you obviously need that for sure. You know, of course, paint, a lighter color paint. If it looks sort of like off-white or maybe a mauve kind of color going on there.
They use like an aggressively white.
Okay.
Throughout the house, and I think they use the same paint. They use it on the trim. They used it on everything. Like it's not a very flattering. Like again, have not tackled this area at all. We've done some painting, some limited painting in some other rooms so far, and we have more paint in our future for sure. But I like that idea.
Well, yeah, it's like some type of a clear globe fixture would certainly give you more light up in the space. You also have an opportunity there with your entryway table. You could do lamps and a mirror, something reflective, you know, just to bring more light in. But yeah, that's a very closed-in space. I can see.
Is that like a coat closet there
It is
too? Have you
yeah.
seen where people will like just take the doors off of those and like turn it into almost like an opened?
Yeah, you can take the door off and the trim off, and kind of like a little
cubbies
drop
or
center.
something?
Yeah.
You could make,
That's a great idea.
What is
yeah,
it?
like cubbies, like but it's like
yeah.
open, so you don't have the doors, so it like opens up the space a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Okay, I
The-
like that.
The real trick to that area is going to be the flooring. Looks like it has some 1980s tile kind of in it that's
Yeah.
lighter in the center. And, you know, to correct that is you're going to have to tear it out of there.
Yeah,
And that's a whole thing.
yeah.
And there's not really a good way to recoat tile
Mm-hmm.
that lasts.
Yep.
So maybe
Yeah.
You could use some those garage floor coatings,
Like epoxy. of
and
some sort.
you put it over the top, which would adhere to that.
Yeah.
And but it would give it kind of an industrial look, and it would probably retain the look of the tile, but it would all be the same color. It would be the only thing you could try. It wouldn't cost a lot of money to give it a run.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in switching out the tile, but I wouldn't try to change the grout or anything like it. It's too much work.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do that, just
Tear the whole
Put
thing
something
take it
new
out
in.
and redo it.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, you bring up a good point. Entryway, it's gonna like a lot of traffic through there, so you want something that's going to
hold up.
hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen people on TV. Let's paint the tile. Well, that's good till the episode's over, and then it's
Yeah, once
horrible
the cameras
later.
leave.
It's like
Yeah.
Jesus is peeling. It
Yeah,
looks awful.
yeah,
I'm like, what did you think was going to happen?
Well,
So-
excellent. I love these ideas. Scott, can you go back to number 4 right there? So I think, definitely some entryway stuff. So this bathroom here.
Are the
and then
lights on
into
in that
the
picture?
No, I didn't turn on the
Okay.
light because I'm
Jeez.
again,
Really dark.
doing my homework right before the podcast and then just sent it over to Scott this morning. So
I was like, that's worse than the bathroom at the bus stop.
no. The light is not on in there right now. But we were thinking about like we have a bathroom upstairs, couple upstairs. I don't know,
Do you use this one?
Well, so not super often, but I
Mhm.
mean, we've got the basement right there. So if you were hanging out in the basement, this would be the one that you
Okay.
would go to probably quicker.
Could probably put
But
some paint on that vanity
Okay.
and a top.
Mm-hmm.
And NFM, we do that here, and I think a little nicer top and a little paint on that vanity would probably modernize it a little bit
Yeah.
and brighten up the color for sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, it seems like a nice enough bathroom. Clear shower door always makes the bathroom look bigger.
Yeah.
You've got to clean that, of course, but if you don't really use it, it does make it look a lot larger because you kind of visualize that space inside.
One of our ideas was to make this like a dog washing bathroom. Like it's like instead of it being just a person bathroom, like you try to make it a little bit
Yeah.
more
I've seen
functional
those. That would be
for us because
handy.
so that door on Scott, can you go to 3? So through the laundry room goes to the backyard. So sometimes it's wet out there and muddy, and you're bringing the dogs in, and so this could potentially be an area where we could bring the pets in and
Mudroom
kind of take care of them.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sort
that's a
of
great
like have a
idea.
little mudroom kind of thing going. So that was an idea. And if we went that route, like wondering to try to make this a little bit friendlier, like could you do a glass? Talking about the idea of bringing more light into this whole space, like glass door
Absolutely.
here as well. I even talked about, Scott, can you go back to 4? I even talked about go to 2 actually. Let's use 2. Even talked about, I don't know if you could open up that wall a little bit as well, make the vanity freestanding so you just open up the space a little bit more. That was kind of an idea that I had. I don't know, Scott, is this?
I think you got to be careful about removing a bathroom from your home. I mean, when you move someday, everybody thinks they won't, but they will. You move someday, you have a dog washing station, which, really appeals to a certain group of people and probably not a lot of others, and they'd rather have a bathroom.
Yeah.
So I would probably try to do something moderate. If you want to wash dogs, take the doors completely off the shower and leave it open. It's probably easier. And, a freestanding sink would be fine as long as that sink was put in after the tile was installed. Because if you take it off of there and there's no tile under it, and you got all kinds of problems going on unless you
Yeah.
have extras. And
Or
so,
if that, I don't know how often you guys use that shower, but I wonder if you could even just install one of those shower heads with the spray thing, and you don't actually need a separate dog washing station.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly an option. I think for us, we like I understand being a little bit moderate, but we kind of like what we like and want it to work for us as well. and maybe I will regret that later down the road. But that's one of those things where certainly I think one of the things that we're talking about with this series more and more is like trying to be intentional with your home and making it like work for you rather than planning for this future that may or may not actually happen. And so I think you definitely want to balance that because it is a financial investment. But for us, I think it's one of those things that you want to think about as well. It's like, does it make sense for you and weigh the pros and cons?
You are correct, because we built a brand new home that I'm not sure the resale will ever be great because it's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, a house of that size with just 2 bedrooms would not be that exciting. But that'll be our kids' problem. When we're dead, they can worry about selling it. But we built exactly what we wanted, and we didn't really worry about the resale.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'm not sure that's ultimately a great decision. We'll find out.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
I mean, we love it. We love it. It works exactly the way we want it to, but
Enjoy it while you're living in it,
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's just take a peek at the laundry room again real quick and just any thoughts that you have about this space. And we've kind of bled a little bit about talking about the replacing of the door, obviously, but any ideas for laundry rooms?
Well, you could certainly do a better job with your organization.
What do you
on the
mean?
Shelves. Maybe just like some matching
Sarah.
baskets, something to kind of
Contain stuff.
Baskets look great, and just
Cabinetry if you don't feel like organizing closed door cabinets.
Yeah.
Okay,
that can
Hilary,
be
I felt
expensive.
like that was accusatory, but
that can be expensive.
I just helped a neighbor with a little project like this, and she bought a large top from like the lumber yard, and then we cut it down, and it goes over the top of the washer and dryer.
Yeah.
So she's got a
I've
really
seen
nice
that.
folding
Space.
area.
Yeah.
And then, maybe lower the shelves and make them a little deeper so that you could put more storage on there and have the
Right.
stuff you wanted. And she's got a very small home, and it really turned out nice and gave her a lot of extra space. And some people will just use that to store their clothes on and never put them away, which
Right.
might be me. And it's just like, I got to run down there to the laundry room and grab my clothes for this morning.
Right before you go out the back door, you can just
Exactly,
throw your
yeah.
clothes
Just get
on.
dressed and walk out the door.
And then you can just put your dirty clothes right into the washing machine.
maybe,
functional homes,
maybe this floor is going to turn out better than I thought.
So our laundry room is attached to our walk-in closet. So the clothes literally go straight into the washing
go.
machine. So it
hamper.
works.
That's smart. That's smart. Okay.
So nice.
Thank you for these ideas. I think I got a lot out of this. Any final thoughts of consideration for me as I think about that space?
I mean, you want the entryway to be bright. You want it to be welcoming. You want to have, nice art, pictures, whatever it is.
Right.
Good light. I think the doors on the ends are a good idea. And, laundry is normally about a place to store all the stuff you don't want people seeing. Whether it's your dirty clothes or the soap or whatever, all that stuff is.
Yeah.
So, lots of options there, though.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks again. Okay, so my next project, I think this is probably the only one we'll have time to get to. We'll take a peek anyway, is our screened-in porch. So Scott, can you go to number? Do we not have 6 on there? We're 6. Just give them
It's
an
down
overall.
below.
6 is
Yeah,
down below.
There we
Below
go.
it, yeah.
There we
Oh,
go.
naturally.
Perfect.
Wow,
So-
that's
Yeah,
that is very
impressive.
cool.
Geez, that's nice.
Yeah, we really love this. Was a big selling point for the house. Is this
agree.
screened-in porch? It's huge. It's beautiful. Go to 7 if we could. Scott, give him a peek inside there. So this is just gives you a version of looking one way through it. But I have a couple issues, and if we look at 8. So this door, you can't really tell super well from this image, but you can kind of see maybe the how it's slanting,
Yeah,
so
the
the
bottom
door
has
doesn't
some
like
space.
swing freely. So you have to kind of like lift it up. And there's I don't know if I took a close-in picture of it, but there are some like brackets kind of holding it together on the top and the bottom, and they weren't original to when the door was installed. Yeah, that one is just a picture of some wood rot that we've got going, but I don't think I've got a picture full on of the door. But like the door itself doesn't swing freely, and I think that's definitely a place I'd love to start because we want to enjoy the backyard space, but having that little entry barrier can be a little disturbing. So I don't know if you have experience with doors or if there is something that you do to kind of like tackle it to start with.
So it's a typical lumberyard door. You could get that at any, Menards, Home Depot, all the rest of those.
Yeah.
And I would probably go right over to our warehouse and get a couple of refrigerator boxes and make me a big template of the exact opening, because the opening for sure isn't level. It looks like the floor is tapering off one direction.
Okay.
And I would make a template of that and get an exact fit, and then get a new door and lay it on there and trace it out and cut it to fit. The problem may be where the floor tapers away, the door might be longer and it could drag as you go out the outside. And I have seen a piece that screws to the bottom of the door and it looks kind of like a big broom. And like the thing you see on the back of old motorhomes.
Yeah.
And, it can keep the bugs out and all those kinds of things when it's still open and closed.
Catch, yeah.
Yeah, so those are pretty straightforward to put on, of course, but it's hard to tell from the photo how well the door fits otherwise. And a good new set of hinges on it will probably do it some good.
Yeah.
Template's a good idea versus like doing 100 trips to the hardware store.
Well, yeah, the opening is clearly not square,
Right.
And there is a way to measure it and cut it, and it's tricky. And I won't say I haven't hacked up a door or two trying to do that. To make a template and then put it on a new door and trace it on there, and then you get a door that fits exactly the way that you want.
Yeah, I love that. Great idea. And the grabbing a refrigerator box to make it. I mean, why not take advantage?
Big enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because paper's not strong enough. You're trying to stand it up in the opening, so a
Right.
good thick piece of cardboard works. And
Right.
There's
Clever guy.
400 refrigerators getting delivered every day. There's plenty of boxes over there.
Yeah,
Snag,
can borrow one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then we were already taking a peek at some of the other issues that I have. Some little bit of wood rot there. I think, what was that, 9 that we were taking a look at? Yeah. So, and then 10, you can kind of see this little spot right here. It's kind of an awkward area, and obviously I'd like to repair that, but I don't know. Do I tear up the board surrounding that? Do I don't even know the first place to start with this. This one's, it just seems like a tough spot to get to.
If this is a house that you're always going to live in, there's one way to fix it right, and then there's another way to fix it if you just want it to look better. But, you have to replace that lumber, and it doesn't appear to be pressure-treated lumber. It appears to be like standard construction lumber that's stained. So, it's pretty straightforward. You just got to start taking the boards out, and whether, depending on its age, they're nailed in, and that always makes it harder than if they're screwed down. So you're going to have to get out a crowbar and pry those off there, and keep the old one as a template. It's much easier.
Okay.
Because, you're cutting around a post and some other things there.
Yeah.
And if you're not up to that, you can buy epoxy and epoxy that all in and paint it and touch it up, and it'll probably look good for 10 years.
Yeah.
So whichever way you want to do it, you know. So
yeah, 10-year option sounds pretty good. No, I think
Well,
I
you
just
can play with
have
the
to burn it.
crowbar.
Yeah,
That
I
sounds
did.
fun.
Well, we tore up some old boards in the old house, but this spot specifically just is a little it's really tight, like you said, trying to cut around that. I just go super nervous about doing it the right way, and
Again, keeping
making
the
it
old
fit.
board as a template
Right.
is a really good idea.
yeah, because then you're out there trying to measure the new, and you're like,
Yeah.
geez, I wish I had
Slightly, just if you're
Yeah.
slightly off, that's a
Check that in
problem.
the- check that in the trash.
You're going back down the lumberyard to get a new piece of wood, and a good epoxy for that. It's not really epoxy, but auto body filler, like fixing your car,
Like a
Oh,
Bondo
okay.
thing.
works beautifully on wood.
Interesting.
And you can even kind of sand it with heavy sandpaper at the end to give it sort of a
Kind of a
wood
grain.
grain look.
Okay.
And it works, and it's meant to be outside, and it lasts a long time. And that would probably serve you for some time.
That's clever. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
All right.
it is not the correct way to fix
Well,
that,
yeah.
but it is a way, and it'll probably work for a long time.
I mean, we are referring to this as a little bit DIY-y, so I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, it's not a
We call
structural
it a
piece.
drive-by.
Yeah, okay.
Let's do a drive-by.
There you
How
go.
about that? Keep it for life.
There you go. Okay. All right. So then I've got some little spots of screen that are going bad in this. There's a missing board there. They just kind of put one up.
Oh.
You can kind of see, and they're missing one on the bottom. I say they, but it's me now. So
You've inherited this.
I gotta get a little bored there, but like it gives you a picture. If you look at 12 so I've got some screen that I don't know exactly what happened, but they just kind of sewed up the screen part that's missing. And there's a couple other spots.
Is that a drive-by?
I
Yeah.
mean,
they're
Let
not
them
surgeons.
operate on your buddy.
Maybe.
Back together.
What do we got there? Let's go to the last one. I think 13 probably might be the last one that I had. Another little spot where they didn't sew this one up, and so we just
Wild
stuck.
animals
We just stuck a couple of pictures there to kind of like block it from our cat because we let her out, and so haven't got around to kind of fixing this up yet. But understanding that it doesn't. It's probably not the hardest thing in the world if I get around to just adding it to my to-do list. Scott, what do you think?
So there's a couple kinds of screens. So there's, I think it's called fiberglass screen, but it looks like plastic, and that doesn't hold up. It's never use that. Sorry to the people who make it, but don't use that. You get metal screen,
Oh, okay.
and it lasts basically forever. It really holds up well. It's a lot thicker. It's a lot sturdier. And then once you put the screen up, spray paint it black,
Okay.
because screen about 10 feet
Rust.
away, it disappears.
Oh, wow.
And if it's silver, you always see it. But if you spray it black, somehow that makes it invisible. I don't know how that works.
Wow.
But put it up, get
Interesting.
it tight, and then and spray paint it black, and it disappears. It looks better, and the metal screen will last a lot longer. And never sew up the screen because
Yeah.
it looks like that picture. Bad, like somebody
It's like
sewed-
Frankenstein or something.
Frankenstein,
was.
that is.
somebody Frankenstein a screen, and you don't
Uh-huh.
need that. And that screen's probably held on with these little wood strips.
Yeah.
Don't try to save those. They're $3 at the lumberyard, and it will save you a lot of pain. Just tear them off, throw them away, staple up new ones, spray paint it black, and it'll look like $100.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Okay. I think we covered a lot so far. I have more, but I'm just gonna have to ask you offline because we're at the end of our time. So thank you both, Scott, Sara. Any thoughts on any advice maybe for my future endeavors as a final word?
Don't be afraid to ask for advice if you don't know what you're doing. Like, it's always a good idea.
That's what I'm
I
doing
think
here.
you asked for advice maybe on one or two projects, but
I mean, if you don't know, ask somebody, and of course, YouTube can be your friend for almost anything. And don't be afraid to tear into something. I mean, I don't suggest you go ripping the roof off of your house, but putting new
Right.
screens on or a door on an outside patio, give it a run. I mean, the worst you can do is wreck a $50 door, and you go, well, I learned something, and it's not worse than the old one. But take your time and give it a run. There's no reason you can't try to do things yourself. And I've torn up and ruined plenty of things in my day trying to fix things, but that's how you learn.
Yeah. And look what you know now.
Yeah, now you're welding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't weld
Jack of
great,
all
but I can weld,
trades.
yeah. So
Great lessons. Okay, thank you again, Becca, Hilary, and of course, Team Baker, and Scott and Renee. We're working you pretty hard over there on showing these images. So thanks to everyone who's listening, of course. Remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the I Am Home podcast wherever you listen. And for more information about us, head over to nfm.com, where you can shop 24/7 for today's top furnishing styles. Till then, remember, home is what you make it.
Thanks for joining us today for I Am Home with Tyler Weisskopf, Hilary Woltemath, and Becca Sudbeck. No one knows home quite like NFM. So if you'd like more information on home design at NFM, please check out nfm.com and leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice.